(8:45 p.m). This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Lal Mallavarachi and read by Mario Vijayawardena. The headlines. Over 113 parliamentarians of the SLBC have signed a letter requesting Basil Rajapaksa to be appointed as an MP. The government is to obtain the support of international communities to receive compensation owing to the damage caused by the Express Pearl vessel. The death toll due to the COVID virus in Sri Lanka reached 3,030. Presently, 30,372 infected patients are being treated at hospitals and treatment centres. Sri Lanka will get 200,000 Pfizer vaccine doses and 2 million Sinopharm doses next month. In foreign news, South Africa's top court sentences ex-President Jacob Zuma. Over 113 parliamentarians of the SLBC have signed a letter requesting Basil Rajapaksa to be appointed as an MP, and they handed this letter to the President. The chairpersons forum of the local government bodies in the northwestern province have also approved the proposal that Basil Rajapaksa should come into parliament without any further delay. The SLBC parliamentarians say that Basil Rajapaksa has proven abilities in effective leadership. At a press briefing held in Colombo today, SLBC parliamentarian Milan Jayatilaka said that the opposition parties criticise Basil Rajapaksa as he would become a threat to the opposition. The Director General of Health Services has confirmed 45 more COVID-19 related fatalities that have occurred yesterday. These deaths have pushed the official death toll due to the virus in Sri Lanka to 3,030. According to the data released by the Department of Government Information, the new victims include 24 females and 21 males. One of them is aged below 30 years. 12 victims are between 30 to 59 years and the remaining 32 are aged 60 and above. Meanwhile, another 1,320 persons have tested positive for the coronavirus today. This brings the total number of COVID-19 cases confirmed in the country thus far to 256,828. Presently, 30,372 infected patients are being treated at hospitals and treatment centres across the island. As many as 2,222 more patients were discharged from medical care within the last 24 hours as they have returned to health. Thus, the number of total recoveries has reached 223,471. The government is to obtain the support of international communities to receive compensation owing to the damage caused by the Express Pearl vessel. A discussion in this connection was held at the Ministry of Justice via Zoom technology. The meeting was headed by Minister Ali Sambri and State Minister Nalaka Godaheva and Kanchana Wijayasekara, and the Attorney General Sanjay Rajaratnam and some representatives of international organizations were present at the meeting. Special attention has been focused on normalizing the lives of the affected fishing communities under the guidance of the President. Compensation will be measured in the short-term, mid-term and long-term basis. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. SLBC parliamentarian Jagat Kumara says that the President has pardoned former parliamentarian Duminda Silva in line with the provisions in the Constitution. At a press briefing held at the party headquarters today, he said the opposition is slinging mud at this decision in order to force the authorities to obtain a pardon for Ranjan Ramanayake as well. MP Jagat Kumara further said that the President acts in a straightforward and principled manner. The Australia branch of the Past Pupils Association of the Ceylon German Technical Training Institute has donated a stock of heart rate monitoring oximeters to the government. State Minister Sita Arambepola received the donation and officially handed over the stocks to the Western Provincial Director of Health, Dr. Mrs. Dhammika Jayalath. 37,566 COVID-19 infections have been reported in India during the past 24 hours. 977 deaths have also been reported. The Indian health authorities say that the total deaths owing to COVID-19 in India surpassed 397,000. Nearly 60,000 persons have completely recovered today. That's local news.
The main news News Story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The chairman of the State Pharmaceuticals Corporation, Dr. Prasanna Gunasena, says that Sri Lanka will get 200,000 Pfizer vaccine doses next month. The country will also receive 2 million Sinopharm doses on the 4th of next month, apart from 100,000 doses of Sputnik V vaccines. It has been decided to give Moderna vaccines as a second dose for those who were given the AstraZeneca first dose. Dr. Gunasena said that it is possible to give more vaccines to the people next month. That was our main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
And now in Watchlight, Sri Lanka has administered at least 3,506,077 doses of COVID-19 vaccine so far, as per the statistics released yesterday by the Epidemiology Unit of the Ministry of Health. Accordingly, the first dose of the COVID-19 vaccines have already been administered to 2,605,558 individuals, while the second dose has been administered to 900,519 individuals. That came to you in Watchlight, and now in world news headlines. South Africa's top court sentences ex-president Jacob Zuma. Spain, Malta and Portugal restrict non-vaccinated travellers. A research finds masks upgrade cuts COVID infection risk. South Africa's former president Jacob Zuma has been sentenced to 15 months in jail by the country's highest court. He has been given 5 days to hand himself to the police. Failing that, the police minister must order his arrest. The sentence comes after the Constitutional Court found him guilty of contempt for defying its order to appear at an inquiry into corruption while he was president. Mr. Zuma's time in power, which ended in 2018, was dogged by graft allegations. Portugal and Malta have introduced measures to restrict UK travellers who are not fully vaccinated. The Portuguese government says travellers will have to quarantine for 14 days unless they can prove they received their second vaccine dose a fortnight before arrivals. Malta is also only allowing double vaccinated people in from Wednesday. In Spain, UK travellers need to prove they are fully vaccinated or provide a negative PCR test on arrival. The quality of face masks healthcare workers wear makes a huge difference to their risk of coronavirus infection, Cambridge University Hospital's NHS Foundation Trust research has found. Wearing a high-grade mask known as an FFP3 can provide up to 100% protection. By contrast, there is a far greater chance of staff wearing standard-issue surgical masks catching the virus. Professional bodies have long campaigned for staff to be given better personal protective equipment. And now the main points of the world news segment once again. South Africa's top court sentences ex-president Jacob Zuma. Spain, Malta and Portugal restrict non-vaccinated travellers. Research finds masks upgrade cuts COVID infection risk. That was world news, and now in development news, the Civil Aviation Authority says that 94% of the construction work of the Package B project at the Kaltanaka Airport has already been completed. The overall construction work will be completed by the end of September this year. That was development news, and now in sports news, the first one-day international between Sri Lanka and England is underway, and England won the toss and chose to field. Sri Lanka only scored 185 runs. Kusal Danit Perera 73 and Wanindu Hasaranga scored 54 runs. That was sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Sri Lanka has sold 38.7 billion rupees in 2025 and 2028 bonds after calling bids for 50,000 data from the State Debt Office showed. The Debt Office sold 16.275 billion rupees in October 2025 bonds at 7.3% after calling bids for 27.5 billion. Similar maturities were trading around 6.9 to 7% last week, dealers said. Another 22.5 billion rupees in March 2028 bonds were sold at a yield of 7.99%.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
And now in economic news, Sri Lanka has hired 65,000 unemployed graduates into the state sector over the past year and 35,000 more youth into a new department, and more will be hired, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa said. Employment opportunities for unemployed graduates were one of the main demands made during the election campaign, President Rajapaksa said in a national address. Accordingly, as soon as the government was appointed, steps were taken to provide government employment to 65,000 graduates who were unemployed at the time. Another 35,000 youth with low education had been hired into the public sector, which will be taken to 100,000 into a new department called the Multitask Force. That was economic news.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue in partnership with the Ministry of Education introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
The Met Department says showers will occur at times in the Sabaragama province at the Gala, Matara, Kandy and Nuwara Eliya districts. Several spells of showers will occur in the western and the northwestern provinces. Showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in the Uva and the eastern provinces and in the Mullaitivu district in the evening or night.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue in partnership with the Ministry of Education introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
And now the headlines of this news broadcast once again. Over 113 parliamentarians of the SLBC have signed a letter requesting Basil Rajapaksa to be appointed as an MP. The government is to obtain the support of international communities to receive compensation owing to the damage caused by the Express Pearl vessel. The death toll due to the COVID virus in Sri Lanka reached 3,030. Presently, 30,372 infected patients are being treated at hospitals and treatment centres. Sri Lanka will get 200,000 Pfizer vaccine doses and 2 million Sinopharm doses next month. In foreign news, South Africa's top court sentences ex-President Jacob Zuma.